everybody, it's Hexa, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my February bullet journal setup with you guys. In the last couple of bullet journaling videos that I made, I was pretty much just filming my hands and the whole process of like setting up my bullet journal, but I was kind of missing the one-on-one time with you guys, so I think from now on I'm going to do a little bit of time at the beginning and end just like talking to the camera face to face. For today's video, I want to do a shout out for my Patreon supporter Li Xin, who is from China, which is where I live, and they pledged $5 per month to my Patreon. So if you guys want to get a shout out on my channel, you can go ahead and donate to my Patreon down below to support me and my channel. It really helps out a lot with buying supplies and equipment and products to review and all that kind of stuff. So February is obviously the month of Valentine's Day, the month of love, and I really wanted to do a very romantic, very cute and sweet love theme for this month. Initially, I had wanted to do a love letters theme. I didn't want it to be too like in-your-face Valentine's Day initially, so I thought I would just do like, you know, a mailbox and like paper airplanes and message in a bottle and an envelope and things like that. But then in the end, I just had all of these elements that I wanted to include, and I figured that instead of trying to put all of them in one page on like the first page of the spread, I would just spread them out throughout my setup for this month. So in the end, my cover page ended up being really simple and classic and sleek, and then I had all of the little motifs and elements that I wanted to include spread out throughout the setup. As for the quotes that I picked this month, as you know, in bullet journaling, a lot of people like to put in little quotes in their journals to kind of motivate them and to put a smile on their face throughout the month. And this month I decided that I wanted to really make it very personal, and I picked all quotes that were personally said to me by someone I love. So things that had either been said to me in person or that had been sent in a text or a letter or anything like that. Those were the kind of quotes that I picked to lift me up throughout the month of February. Without any further ado, here is my February bullet journal setup. So the first step of any bullet journaling video is to make your desk look super cute, so I'm going to spread a bunch of these little heart-shaped sequins all over my desk. Next up, we're going to introduce our materials. I'm using my Tombow dual brush pens, some whiteout, a pencil, eraser, and a ruler. I've got one of these little white gel pens for details and highlights, a bunch of Fineliners of your choice. These ones are from Marabu, and of course some plain black Micron pens from Sakura, and a watercolor brush. I'm going to store all of these conveniently in an adorable heart-shaped saucer and matching mug from Marks & Spencer's. I'll link as many of my materials as I can find down in the description box below in case any of you guys are interested in getting them for yourselves. Other than those, I did have a few more things. I have this adorable washi tape that I got from IKEA that says love on it. I used a glue stick, a pair of scissors, some watercolor paper and watercolor cakes, and these B6 patterned paper notepads from Kiki K. Last but not least, of course, we can't forget the most important material of all, which is the actual bullet journal. This is my Leuchtturm 1917 dotted journal in the shade Nordic Blue. My first spread is, of course, my February title page. On the left, I draw a little box in pencil for a quote. This is a quote from a loved one, very close to me, and I thought it would be the perfect way to start off February because it really makes me happy every single time I read it. And I decided I would do a really simple font just to focus on the actual words. For the actual title page, I decided to do a little rose wreath. So I'm coloring the roses in with my Tombow pen in the shade 723. And then I also colored in the leaves using 243. What I did for this wreath was that I pretty much just drew out a circle using a compass, and then I placed these little circles around it to map out where I wanted my roses and my leaves. And then for the actual details on the roses, you pretty much just start off with 3 little squiggles in the middle, and then you keep working your way around in a messy spiral. And the effect is really, really pretty. It's super easy to do, and yeah, it really looks like roses without having to put in all of the effort of making it look perfect. Of course, I'm doing the same for the leaves, just outlining them. By the way, I'm using a Micron pen in 0.2 for the outlines of the roses and the leaves. And then for the text of the word February in the middle, I used a slightly larger Micron pen. This one is 0.3. The next page is my brain dump, and for this page I wanted to do my message in a bottle motif, so I used one of my Tombow pens to draw some little waves across the top. And then of course you can see that I am drawing my little message in a bottle at the bottom of the page. I really, really love the idea of a message in a bottle. I think it's so cute and adorable, and yeah, I just colored that in really, really lightly with some pastel Tombow pens. I'll probably specify in the description box exactly which colors I used for each thing. For the next page, of course, one of my first pages in every single month is my monthly goals. So this is my February goals page, and I decided I'd do these cute little like hanging hearts from the top of the page. In January, I decided that along with my monthly goals, I would also have a monthly quote and a monthly word to live by. So you'll probably see in a little bit what exactly those are, but for now you can just see me writing in my February goals. I'll probably make a video talking about these so that you guys can know what I'm up to this month. For my monthly quote this month, I wanted to actually write it down on a piece of patterned paper from Kikki.K. They make these B6 notepads that have like lined paper for writing letters and patterned paper for different arts and crafts projects, and they're super, super cute. In a little bit, you guys will see me taking out my 2 different Kikki.K notepads that I have and trying to decide which patterned paper to use. So I have this one from the Cute collection on the right side and the one from the Write It Down collection on the left. I decided I'd go with the Write It Down collection, and I eventually chose this pattern with the little envelopes since I did want to have some form of a envelope motif in my spread this month. I mapped out the guidelines for how big I wanted the quote in pencil, and then I wrote down my quote. Again, this is something that was personally said to me by someone I love. It says, "Thank you for fighting your battle every day." And that's pretty much just a reminder to me to do that, to fight my battle every single day. As for the word of the month and my monthly theme, I wanted February to be the month of change, and I was trying to think of a better way of saying change, and the word that I settled on was metamorphosis, and of course that is strongly related to butterflies, and I love blue butterflies. I'm also doing a lot of traveling this month. I'll be flying and stuff, so you know, I have to fly this month, butterflies fly, so the butterflies seemed like the perfect motif for, this whole idea of change and metamorphosis. And the way that I went about drawing this butterfly was that I basically looked on Pinterest for pictures of blue butterflies, couldn't find any, so instead I looked up monarch butterflies, which are those really beautiful red and orange ones, and I traced, I think it was actually a watercolor drawing of a monarch butterfly through the screen of my computer. So I placed my watercolor paper onto my screen and then I traced it through and I drew out the basic shape of the butterfly, and then when I painted it, I pretty much just changed up the colors. And this is what I came up with. I really, really love the way the butterfly turned out. Like, I'm not an artist or anything, but it looks really cute, and I was considering making it pink to go with the color scheme, but in all honesty, I love blue butterflies specifically, so that was what I wanted to go with. Obviously, this was pre-filmed because I did need to let the painting dry before I could stick it into my bullet journal. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, is just painting my little butterfly and getting it ready to stick in my journal. After my butterfly had dried, I went ahead and erased all of my pencil lines, and then I used my white gel pen to add some little dots and highlights and details on it. And then I cut it out and stuck it in next to my quote. You guys will see in a sec. I was really scared that I wouldn't have space for both of them in here. The quote and the butterfly did need to overlap a little bit, but I eventually managed to stick them both in and get them to fit. Once I stuck the corners down for my quote, I did also go in with a piece of this washi tape from IKEA because it says love and it's like perfect for Valentine's Day, so I stuck that down underneath the quote. And then for my butterfly, since the watercolor paper is really thick and sturdy, I had to actually like close my bullet journal and press down on it to get it to stick a little bit more flat onto the paper. And then I did also want to actually have the word metamorphosis somewhere on the page, so I wrote it just underneath the butterfly, and it ended up overlapping a little bit onto the quote paper. The next spread is all about social media. So for my YouTube ideas spread, I decided to use the paper airplane motif. I love sending like little love notes and letters inside paper airplanes. I think it's so cute and adorable. So for the word YouTube, I mapped out the words first, and then I did like a dotted line to symbolize that that's like the way that the plane was flying. And then I just wrote ideas underneath, and I drew out my little paper airplane and colored it in a pastel blue. This page is super simple, but I think it's adorable. I love that the loop-de-loop from the paper airplane makes like a little heart at the end. And then for my socials page, where I track my social media posts as well as like my personal socializing time, I decided I'd go with this old school telephone, and the coil from the wire of the telephone would actually spell out social. And then on the right side, I drew a camera, which of course has a cute little pink heart inside the lens. Over here, you can just see me playing around with the color scheme that I was going with, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the more blue periwinkle or the more purple periwinkle first. I decided I would do the more purple periwinkle first. And over here I made a little mistake, because initially I wrote YouTube with my Tombow, but the letters were just too big and bulky, so I decided to write it in with my Micron pen and then just underline the words with the corresponding Tombow color, and I think that looks a lot better and a lot more clean and clear. Clean and clear, like the skincare brand, really. And over here I'm just writing some little mini calendars, so pretty much every time I make a YouTube post or a blog post or an Instagram post, or every time I hang out with someone in person, I will just color in that date and like write down what I did or what I posted. And over here we're on to our last spread. These are all my like health and wellness related trackers. So on the left I have my sleep tracker. Usually for this I do a sun on one side and a moon on the other, but this time I decided to go with stars because I thought they were a lot more romantic. So I drew some little stars around the header for my sleep tracker, and then obviously just wrote the times and the dates. And on the right side, I have my habit tracker and my mood tracker. Underneath my habit tracker, I decided that I would draw a little quill, you know, like the traditional feather pens that you see in movies and stuff, except the pen part of the quill would be shaped like a heart. And then on the right underneath mood, I did an arrow, like Cupid's arrow, and I thought this was really, really cute to just like underline the trackers with these cute little drawings. They're very romantic, very simple, and yeah, really pretty and cute. Again, I'm just writing in the dates and the days of the week, or like the initials of the days of the week down the middle right between the two. And then for habits, I have 12 habits that I'm going to track this month, and I basically just like color coded them in groups of 3. So whenever I've done that habit, I would just like color in a box for that day. And then for mood, I always use my Marabu Fineliners. There's 12 of them, and I have 12 different moods that I track. And apparently this is where I realized that I have sequins all over my elbows and decided to show you guys. So that is it for my February bullet journal setup. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. As you can see, I don't know, like that butterfly there just makes me so happy. It is so cute, and it actually works really well with the pink. I got all of the motifs and images that I wanted to get into the spread, and everything is just cohesive and adorable and really, really romantic and sweet and cute and perfect. So that was it for my February plan with me. I really, really love how it turned out. I hope you guys loved it. I had such a fun time making this video. I really love the way that it turned out, and I think this is by far my favorite setup that I have ever done in a bullet journal. I just love it so much. It's so me. It's like I included all of the elements that I wanted to include without the pages looking too heavy and too full or random. Everything is like really cohesive and cute, and I actually have a color scheme and I stuck to it. And yeah, I really, really love this setup. You'll notice I didn't do a weekly spread. That's because I've kind of been wanting to experiment a little bit with like making a collage inside my bullet journal, and I think it's gonna take a lot of time to find all the right little pieces to include in my collage. So maybe I will make a post of it on Instagram once I figure out what I want to do for my weekly spread. I'm not sure yet. I want to leave this video by telling you guys that whoever you are, wherever you are, whether you are single or in a relationship, whether you're spending Valentine's Day alone or with someone you love, I love you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you guys have a February filled with love, kindness, and progress. As I said, for me, this is going to be the month of metamorphosis, and I hope it is for you too. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You can follow me on all of my social media, which is linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!